That's okay. All right. It's about that time. Please tap that screen, share the live. I'd appreciate that. My speakers decided to work. How nice. I, Bravo. And away we go. Uh-oh. TikTok crash? That's not good. And good morning, evening, or afternoon, depending on what part of the globe you're on and what time zone you are in. I am Skeptically Speaking. And we've got quite a few disturbing stories to share. one of the one of the many disturbing stories is this new TikTok social media. I don't know. Hey, how's it going, Alexander? I don't know what to call this. It's this new trend where people laugh at people that are going to be going hungry, who are getting SNAP benefits taken from them, and it's just unbelievable to me that we have this mentality in this country where we are okay with watching people go without, lose benefits, people who are already struggling. And I'm seeing it for a lot from accounts that, if you look at the profiles of some of these people, these are so-called Christians. These are so-called people who, care about what Jesus said and what Jesus had to say. And they think it's a joke. They think it's just a fucking joke to laugh at people's misery. And what a trash way to go through life. A couple of them have gotten eaten up in the comments and elsewhere. One person I know, this food stamps November caption, she lost her job. She's working two jobs. She lost, I think, her main job at a mattress store, factory, or whatever. Come to find out, she has been on public assistance at one time or another, and she may not even have custody of her own children. That's wild. She thought she could play in the faces of people who are going to go through a hard time, and due to this government shutdown, they're going to be going through an even harder time. I mean, what a display of Christ love, right? What a display of Christian charity. You go from the Sermon on the Mount, okay? You go from the Sermon on the Mount, and then you go right to ridicule of struggling families, single mothers who are, single mothers, not, against their will, many of them, due to shitty men. That's a whole nother topic. but they have the audacity. People who just no milk of human kindness, as Shakespeare would say, and they're okay expressing this hate and this bile, this venom. I don't get it. I mean, I do get it, but I don't at the same time. Somebody want to explain this to me? You know, you got these people that are asking, well, what did you do with last month's, benefits? What happened to them? It's like, do you not know how benefits work? You use them. If you're already on desperate times, and then they said, oh, well, you bought it at, you bought processed garbage. What do you think food pantries offer? People who go to food pantries, who are struggling to make ends meet, where do you think they go? What kind of food items do you think they have to offer? Processed. The majority of it is processed. Anything that's dry goods or, it's processed food. 90%, well, I shouldn't say that. 70% of our food is processed at some point, in some form or fashion. You know what I mean? You can't get away from all processed food unless you're going to, yeah. Benefit money doesn't go that far after paying for bills and food. Yeah. Tell me about it. And the majority of people who are receiving SNAP benefits are working. They're it's what they call the working poor. And the only thing we can tell them is, well, you should get a better job. Like, are better jobs available for everybody? Really? That's news to me. But I mean, some of these people are just fucking, their brains are toasted. I don't know what, I really don't know how to describe it. They're just toast. Absolute toast. Oh, and the irony was she's eating this dry ass toast as she's mocking these people. It's just, and then you've got men who are so giddy and excited about this happening. It's like, you think women are going to become more desperate? Oh, basically, it's this. If they lose their benefits, they're more likely to pick shitty men to be with because of necessity. Thank you for liking the live. I appreciate it. Please keep tapping that screen. Tap, tap, and share out the live. I'd appreciate it. Join the Skeptics team. Become a skeptic for a TikTok coin. Doesn't cost much. Be a skeptic. We could all use some skepticism in our life. But I just, this giddiness about women becoming more downtrodden and needing to rely on shitty men. It's just sad. It's like, what? Ugh. By the way, just because women are struggling doesn't mean they're going to choose you. Keep playing in women's faces. And part of me is glad that these people are being public with their disgustingness. Part of me is glad for it because at least now we know who they are, we know how they think, and we know who to avoid. I think it's a lot scarier when we don't know how these people think, when we don't know what they're thinking. But now we can see them for who they are. And we can see them in all of their nastiness. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. Yeah, imagine if corporations paid fair wages. Imagine if corporations were being forced to pay a living wage. That's amazing. Yeah, then we wouldn't have to rely on SNAP and food pantries. But we're not going to get there. We're never going to get there if we keep voting in Republicans. You keep voting Republican, and we're just going to get more of this. This is how you keep poor people even poorer, and hey, eventually we can crash the economy. Hey, but at least we're getting a new ballroom, huh? You know what I found out, I just forgot. The entire East Wing, or as I like to call the Yeast Wing, um, it already had a ballroom floor. There was a picture of I just saw recently of Princess Diana and John Travolta dancing in the East Wing. I'm like, there's already a ballroom there. What the fuck do we need a bigger ballroom? Something's not adding up. Someone tell me I'm wrong in the comments. But I'm hearing reports that they're building an even bigger bomb shelter or a bunker. I don't know. It's just weird to me. Next topic we can discuss. And again, these are going to go fast because it's just. Did you hear the new story of ICE people that work for ICE? Let me see if I can change the background real quick. Let me see. Dum, 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 dum. I can't tell by looking at it. Where is it? I think. No, I just had that one. ICE druggies and criminals. There it is. So apparently, a lot of ICE agents are not passing the basic physical test, and even worse, some of them have criminal backgrounds, and they're failing drug tests. And I keep thinking to myself, that's great. We've got a bunch of drug addicts. That would explain a lot of this. Would explain why they're so belligerent and criminal in the way they carry themselves and the way they terrorize our neighborhoods and streets, dragging people out of their vehicles, going into schools, attacking courthouses. This is why. It's because of these ICE agents have a lot of criminal backgrounds. That explains it. And in fact, one of the graphics, I don't know if you can see that, there's an ICE agent literally getting pulled over for a DUI. Literally getting pulled over for a DUI, and he thought he could get away with it. He thought he could get out of it. Because I'm federal. I'm DHS. You can't touch me. Surprise, surprise. So you got drug addicts, or druggies, you got criminals, and they're enforcing our immigration laws. How nice, how kind. Wow, I mean, if you're going to make fun of DEI, I guess you could consider these ICE agents DEI hires. I mean, they keep lowering the standards. What's amazing is they've lowered the standards at least 3 times. 3 times they've lowered the standards for getting into ICE. And they keep dropping the standards because they can't run a quarter mile. They can't do push-ups. They can barely do sit-ups. And if you look at some of these ICE agents and you watch them run, it's like, yeah, you know what? That tracks. How in the world did they pass a physical? They keep lowering the standards. Or they don't take the physical at all. They just swear them in, make sure they've got the gear, and then out on the streets they go. They may have to pay for their own face mask. But yeah, these people are the worst of the worst. They're thugs. They're unregulated emotionally in every which way. They're out of control. They can't control themselves. And this is why they get into ICE. They would not be able to get hired on the federal level in the FBI or name a branch. They probably couldn't even get into the Army or any military branch. And, oh yeah, please, we could use all the venting. And they also would not be able to get onto the police force. These are the rejects. A lot of these people are the rejects of pick a service. They wouldn't even get into the National Guard, a lot of them. Although Some of the National Guard members I've seen, yikes, it's like even they look like they couldn't pass a physical, but here we are. But yeah, it's quite sad what we're allowing, what we are. It's just this is it. I keep saying this is Democrats' fault. We let this happen. I will never stop pounding this pulpit. We let this happen, folks. You know, Democrats handed this to them on a silver platter. All because they didn't show up to vote for the black lady. Mm-mm-mm. Here we are. Amazing. Amazing. Oh, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Until we get serious about this thing called democracy, until we get serious about voting rights in this country, we're going to keep having this. This is just going to keep going on and on and on. We're just on a ducky little merry-go-round. We need to get serious and we need to start voting like our lives depend on it. Because it does. And it still hasn't sunk in yet. Ooh, I love this. I love the spherical ice. Some of them are half spheres because the way the molds handle the water. I don't know. It's weird. But eventually I will figure it out. But for the most part, they look like marbles. Very well done. Mm, I love my ice. What are you going to do? Anyway, so we've got ICE criminals, we've got druggies and criminals in our departments now. Well, why not? You've got a drunk for Department of the Department of Defense. Secretary of Department of Defense. They changed it to the War Department. So, you know what? I'm not going to call it the War Department. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. So you got this drunken lout. Not to mention you've got a druggie for a president. This guy has been abusing Adderall since the 80s. And who knows what else he's abused. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me. You've got all of these, asshats staffing our government. Is it no wonder you're going to get criminals in our enforcement agencies? I mean, why not? We've got a druggie for a president. Why not a druggie and criminals for ICE agents? All right, next up, let's do... What do I want? This one? Did that one? Did that one? Okay. Let's do Yeast Wing Demolition. Yeast Wing Demolition. Gotta love it. Because eventually we're going to talk about the new underground church, but I wanted to talk about this in particularly because he wants to build a bigger ballroom, but I wonder if it's more of a bigger bomb shelter. I don't know. I've seen a lot of conspiracy theorists online talk about this, and I'm not sure where I stand on it. I want to... They say it's going to be a bigger ballroom, but there was already a ballroom there. Why do you need a bigger one? I mean, unless they expect more people to show up there, but just the tackiness of this. It looks like a bomb hit it. You notice that? It looks like somebody directed a smaller ICBM and it missed the target and hit a building instead. I mean, it doesn't look as bad as Gaza, but it's getting pretty bad. And just the tackiness of it. They didn't go through any of the historical preservation agencies. They didn't get any clearance. They didn't discuss it with anybody. There's like 4 different agencies that we go through that even Obama had to go through. I've read the list off last week, and I couldn't believe it. It's like, goodness gracious, I didn't even know they existed. But that would make sense. I mean, the White House is a very historical building, wouldn't you say? And they're just tearing it apart. They don't care. Just tearing it up, tearing it apart, don't matter. I mean, why not? I mean, the first hooker isn't working in there anyway. Why? Why not? Yeah. This is what we did, Democrats. This is what we allowed. This is what happens when we do not take voting seriously. Again, I'm going to keep harping on this. White Democrats handed the Republicans the White House. And this is what they're doing with it. Because we didn't show up to vote for the black lady. That is why. We should have showed up for the black woman, and we threw chunks. We threw up. We barfed. I mean, unbelievable. This is what we allowed, all because we let misogyny and racism, anti-blackness infect our politics, infect the way we think. And it didn't matter how qualified Kamala Harris was. It didn't matter how qualified. She's been in all 3 branches of government. How qualified can you be? And then we let this jackass mongrel back in the White House. And now he's demolishing it. This is the perfect metaphor. The perfect metaphor for the Trump administration. Destruction, demolition, just running the country into the ground. I mean, this is what our country is going to look like after he's through with it. If he ever gets through with it. Now they're already talking about him running for a 3rd term. Constitution be damned. It doesn't matter. And the way I'm seeing the numbers for the midterms, and it's not looking good. We're not registering to vote. We're not getting people that should be eligible now. We're not getting them registered to vote, or actually, they're not registering to vote. And we're just and the media is a complete circus, literally allowing. It's just unfucking believable what we've allowed in this country. Misogyny and racism won the day. And for those people who, you know what? Let's have Obama run. Let's have Obama run for a 3rd term, right? It's not going to happen, but you know what I mean. It's just pathetic. Absolutely pathetic that we have allowed this to happen. And, until we get our heads out of our asses, this is going to continue. Like I said, the Overton window has shifted so far to the right in this country, it's pretty much smashed in and boarded up with a swastika spray painted on the boarding. That's what it is. We need to get serious about this thing called democracy. We need to get serious about it. Or else we're just going to continue to have more of this. This is trash. This is tacky. This is what you would expect in a 3rd world country. And we let the most unhinged people I'll never understand it. The most unhinged, unserious people run our government. And yes, I would like to think that it was because of voter fraud and cheating, but no, I can't accept that anymore. The numbers don't lie. We had over 90 million voters turn up for Joe Biden. And then all of a sudden, 74 million only for Kamala Harris? Uh-uh. That tells me we had voter apathy. We definitely had voter racists who were like, you know what? I'm not going to vote for her, or I'll vote third party, or I'll just vote for Trump and lie about who I voted for. Either one's not good. But I have a feeling that it's mostly just people just didn't show up to the polls. You know, we have ourselves to blame. American apathy is killing us. American racism is killing us, and and American misogyny is killing us. We wouldn't even be having this conversation had we just voted for the black woman. Yep, that's right. Now, this next one is interesting. This ties into ICE, but it's the new underground church that we've created. I don't know. I thought I had a graphic for it, but for some reason, it's not showing up. Oh, there it is. Oh, no, it's not. Let me try again. Okay, back. Let's try it again this time. I think I downloaded the wrong one. Oops. Now, it's this underground church. I don't know. I don't know how to describe this. You know how the conspiracy theorist Christians talk about the underground church, and one of these days the government's going to come after us and we're going to have to go into hiding, and we're all going to have to, oh no, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. And come to find out, Christians are literally creating a new underground church. There is a record number of Christians that are actually in hiding now in this country because they're afraid of ICE deportations or ICE brutality. Christians have created the very thing they were worried about all this time. I remember growing up as a kid in fundamentalist Christianity. This was one of the things that we were all so afraid of: government coming in and shutting down the church, and then it would be the end of days leading up to the rapture and all that bullshit. Come to find out, American Christians helped create the very thing they were worried about. Now Christians are in hiding, and pastors of certain churches are making home visits so that they can meet with their congregants who are too afraid to show up to church. That is peak irony. They're holding mass services in homes now for certain church members who they're afraid to even show up because they're afraid of getting taken. And now there's an underground church movement that's growing because Christians are afraid to go to church now. Oh, did I happen to mention they're brown? That's the difference. You know, it makes me wonder if Jesus decided to return and show up to the southern border, would Christians even recognize him? Would American Christians even recognize who he was? Or would they throw him in a cage and have him deported? I used to make this joke during the first Trump administration. Jesus tried coming back, but he can't because he came back through the southern border and they threw him in a cage. I mean, it was funny then, not so much funny now. It's sadly hilarious. American Christians have created the very thing they were worried about: the government coming in and snatching church members and abusing them. Oh my God. We are such an unserious people. We really are. So, yeah, so what they've been doing at these churches that are predominantly Hispanic, They've got, they're locking the doors. Number one, they have a volunteer security guard sitting right there to make sure that nobody, anybody that's ICE related can come in through the front doors, and they're only letting people in, one by one, and then they're relocking the door. I mean, if church shootings weren't enough, they got to worry about ICE breaking down the doors, coming in and snatching their members. That is peak irony. That is ironic. I still lack the vocabulary. I still can't believe that this is happening in this country. The very thing we were taught to be afraid of is happening, and it's Christians that are doing it. Christians that are applauding it. Christians that are putting it forward. They're like, "Yay, we want more of this." And you've got ICE agents that show up into church parking lots while church is going on and terrorizing the members. Anybody who looks Hispanic, anybody that looks non-white is getting targeted. It's wild to me. And when we did this show earlier this week or last week, and I showed clips of these people. I wonder if I still have the videos. No, I think I deleted them. Because after a while, I get so many videos. It's like, I just can't keep them all. Well, anyway, here's a clip of the racist neighbor who put a ICE sign in front of his house, and it's a sign that's pointing directly across the street at his neighbors and saying, "Hey, ICE, deport these people over here." And now people in the neighborhood are just getting fed up. Here, let's take a listen.
Now to a story about a man exercising his right to free speech and his neighbors exercising theirs. We were there this afternoon, as you see, as tempers flare.
Yeah, what he meant to say is it's not exercising free speech. He's just being an absolute cunt. Let's just be so for real.
In a metro neighborhood, it's all over a sign referencing ICE, Immigration and Custom Enforcement, and pointing to a Hispanic family's home. News Force Tanner De Leon was there as both sides came face to face.
I asked y'all to come to
So if you can't see, you're on TikTok, so you can't see what's happening, but neighbors are literally standing right in front of his house, holding signs saying "Evil lives here," and then they say the guy's address. I mean, this guy ends up on the Oklahoma. This is in Oklahoma. This guy lives right next door to a school. Can you imagine going to school every day and seeing this guy's sign in his yard? Imagine, you're Hispanic going to school, and then you got to watch. The bus goes right past the guy's house before it stops in front of the school, and it says, "Deport these people over here. ICE welcome." This fucking mongrel.
Shouts of anger and frustration aimed at the person who put up this sign in his yard near Spencer Elementary School.
This is not okay, and I'm a mother here. My children go to this school, and I will not tolerate this.
She is sticking up for the family who lives in the home the sign points to. They tell News 4 they've had issues with the man since moving in a couple years ago.
They don't like us. They complain about everything. My kids playing in the yard over there in the grass, and they come to the fence and they start telling them, "Hey, you need to go to your house. Hey, you need to stop playing."
Families picking up their kids from Spencer Elementary say this does not surprise them.
I was a kid here in the school over 20 years ago, and it was like the same kind of way. He lives next to the school, but even balls over the fence, common things. Still an issue, I guess.
At one point, police showed up. That's when the homeowner came outside. Ordonez says it is one of the few times he has had an opportunity to try and speak with the man.
They don't like Hispanic people, or they don't like nobody yet. I don't know what this problem is. We never mess with him at all.
We out here.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
No, you
Officers say because neither side is breaking any law, they can't do anything. We reached out to OKCPS as well, with it being so close to the elementary school. They say there is nothing they can do about it because the sign is not on their property, adding, quote, "The district is committed to all students, and all students will be educated equally." Families hoping for a change.
I wish we would put scrutiny, I know this community has grown, and everybody that's coming to this community has made an impact that makes a difference for what they do here.
In Spencer, Tanner DeLeon, Oklahoma's News 4.
And again, it's important to point out, as Spencer said, police say the man isn't doing anything illegal, and right now, this is just a case of both sides expressing their right to free speech.
No, it's called, this guy's a racist piece of shit, and he needs to be told that to his fucking face. For far too long, the racists in this country have just had it too easy. They've had no pushback. They've just been allowed to be the miserable cunts that they are, and they've done this in public for so long. It's time that their neighbors start actually pushing back, making them feel uncomfortable. I think that's what should be done. This is the only way this is stopped. This is when you start making it socially unacceptable to behave this way in public. They'll stop. I wonder what his Thanksgiving is going to be like this year. I wonder if the grandkids will be coming by, or the kids will be coming. This guy looks like he's in his 60s. Probably not too far off from 70. I mean, this guy aged like milk, but that's besides the point. I wonder if any of the kids even, I wonder if they even come by or even care to even see them. I don't know. Unless the kids are as miserable cunts as he is. That wouldn't surprise me. I mean, imagine, this guy is this old acting that bad. You know? This Trump administration has got these people twisted. They think that they're going to be able to do this with impunity. Enjoy your time in the sun. It's not going to last very long. Yeah. They're so lonely. Yeah, they need to be made lonely. But that's just horrid. And I tell you what, I hope if I ever act like that, I hope every one of my kids disown me and just have nothing to do with me. Because that's just gross. Racist pieces of shit. And they think they can get away with that. Well, they're getting away with it now, but that's going to come to an end. And I hope sooner than later. But hey, only when we the people decide to stand up, the supposedly good people stand up and get in their face and say, "Hey, fuck off." Maybe they'll take it seriously. Maybe they'll say, "Oh, you know what? Maybe certain behavior isn't tolerated in society." But anyway, those were just the few thoughts that I had. These are some of the themes that we had during the shows. So we do like a show every day, and then we release it to YouTube. So I probably should start doing that. I need to start advertising the show above my head in letters. So yeah, you can find all of our content on Skeptically Speaking on YouTube. And it has all of the week's show. We do 5 shows a week, and then I go live on Sundays. So yeah, check out our content. We talk about everything. Just about. I don't know if there's a subject we haven't covered yet. There is. Put it in the comments. Say, hey, we'd like to hear about this. What do you think about this? And I'll do what I can. Yep, YouTube. Yeah, I wish links worked, but thank you anyway. But yeah, find us, Skeptically Speaking, on YouTube. All of our shows are there. So please give us a follow, check us out. Tell us what you think. We're actually live on YouTube now. Oh. Well, that's nice. I wonder if it works. Oop, yeah, probably better not. Anyway, that's all I have for today. But yeah, these were just some of the themes that we've done throughout the week. Let's see. We've covered 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I think the last show we did was the parade. We covered the No Kings parade. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about the No Kings parade. It just seemed more of a fashion show. It's like we're not really seriously protesting much. Protests are disruptive. If we really want to protest, let's protest with our dollars. Let's just bring this economy to a halt. You know what they're talking about? Boycotting Black Friday and boycotting from Black Friday all the way into December. Only buy the necessities that you need. And let's just stop buying toys. Let's just stop buying stuff. Cancel Christmas. Why not? I guarantee you, once we start divesting with our dollars, we're going to get their attention. We will get their attention when we stop buying shit. Then they'll realize how serious we are. But until we show them how serious we are, they're not going to take us very seriously. The women of Norway. I'm doing it again. It's either Iceland or Norway. I think it's Norway. The women's rights back in 1975, they shut down the country for days. They didn't show up to work, and they didn't do any housework. They didn't do anything with the kids. They let their husbands do it all, and they went out and hit the streets. The country came to a goddamn standstill, and they got the shit that they wanted. Yeah, they did it. That was a protest. That was very successful. And we could do that here. We're due. You're tired of getting paid these shit wages? You're tired of living paycheck to paycheck? Bring this country to a halt. Let's all hit the streets for an entire week, not just a weekend. You know, not just for a parade where we spend money making signs, dressing up, goofy, and face paint and whatever. We could just shut the country down. Let's collectively stop working. And I guarantee you, if we did that, if the same people that showed up for the No Kings protest had done that, it would have gotten a lot of attention. Right now, the Trump administration isn't taking us very seriously. And I think we just haven't suffered enough, I think. We're just going to have to suffer more until we get serious, until we realize, hey, it's do or die time. Maybe when we're that desperate, maybe then our government will start taking us seriously. And we will become a serious people. But until then, I just don't see a whole lot changing. I really don't. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining the live. We appreciate you. And let's head out with some music. By the way, if you want to check out our YouTube, Skeptically Speaking on YouTube, all of our shows are going to be there. All of our shows that we've done throughout the week, we do We do a show 5 days a week, and we've got tons of content. All of the subjects, all of the topics you can think of, all of the events that you can think of, we cover it. We're all over the place. We're bouncing all over. And we want to keep it new. We want to keep it different. We don't want to just talk about Trump. We don't want to talk about all of these assets. There's a lot of stuff going on. And hell, we probably should start covering international news as well. Maybe that's what we need to do. But thank you so much for joining us. Please check out our YouTube, Skeptically Speaking, and a lot of content over there. And with that, I'll say goodnight. And let's have some music. Whoops. I had it. There you are.